Because it is not we who perish, who trust him, but if he betrays the trust, it is he who perishes, not us. Since we know that, we have no reason to worry about that either. Do you understand?
선생님이 그렇다고. 미국 교회라든가 영국 교회 돈만 있으면 내가 쓰라고. 전부 다 아시아 땅 이거보다 하게.
And Father is that way. Father is eager to scrape every bit of money from Japan, from America, from anywhere. If Father hears there is money, Father say, "Oh, bring that over here," and try to spend them all.
그렇다고 영국이 전부 다 나를 영어부터 나는 안 망한다. 내가 한 것은 망하지 누가 잡아먹지 마자고 누가 이것을 없애지 못해.
But Father knows.
사랑으로
Father knows.
사랑으로 뿌리는 것은 절대 없을 거예요.
If you do that through principle, on the basis of principle, no matter what it seems, actually there will be no problem. It will never be lost. It will always come back in different forms, and this is what Father knows.
자, 또 이제 내가 딴 나라에 아프리카 가게 되면 영국 얘기하는 거야. 나는 정말 전부 다 아프리카 또 불평할래?
When Father goes to Africa, then Father will even make the people in England work even harder and say, bring in more money because we have more place to spend in Africa.
자, 그럼 어떻게? 이럴 거야. 어서 그러니까 어떻게 거야?
What would the English people say here? Well, Father, haven't you spent enough there? And we are too, we just cannot make much more money in a fast way. Would you say that?
내 한마디 얘기하지. 내 우리 어머니가 나를 참 사랑하는 어머니라고.
Father will talk to the one example. The Father's own mother loved Father very much.
내가 지금까지 어머니 지금 세상에 돌아가. 이북에서 전부 다 돌아가. 손수건 하나 사줘.
And the Father knows that.
무슨 옷 한 장을 사주고.
Father knows very well that Father's mother loves him very much, but Father didn't even. And she has disease now, but while she was living, till the last time Father saw her, Father never bought her any not even a handkerchief, not even a pair of shoes.
그러면서 애들 앞에 옷도 많이 사주고 무슨 안 사주는 없다. 집도 사주고 다.
But Father bought many the things for everything for other people, all kinds of people, all sort of things, even many houses Father bought for them. There's nothing Father didn't buy for other
그렇다고
people.
우리 어머니가 불행하는 거네.
And Father doesn't believe that Father's mother is an unfortunate one either.
그것을 진짜 사주고 가는 사람들은 그 사람들이 하지 말라고 우리 어머니가 있으면 전부 다 사주려고 하고 내 대신 전부 다 세계 사람에게.
Because Father is confident that Father didn't buy her anything, but everybody who knows Father, who become related with the Father, will be most anxious to buy everything for her. Father knows that, so therefore Father feels she's not the one who need to be pitied.
응? 너 1978년까지 어머니 전부 다 뺏었다는 거야. 있으면 쭉 팔아가지고 전도 쓰려고 그래.
So until the age of 1978, Father tried to get everything out of Mother, what she owns, what small things that she has in surplus. Father always tried to scrape that off and spend that for the sake of the witnessing and for the sake of the evangelism. Father never thought of, they never worried, never even thought anything about running Father's own daily life. Father never gave any thought to that.
그래 점들 돈이 있으면 돈이 없으면 돈이 더 벌어가지고 더 점점 세기나 쓰라.
It's not that Father doesn't have any money. There's more and more money coming in. I mean, we have more money, but every one of them the father tries to spend it for the world.
자, 이래가지고 다 36가지 집을 가지고 다 이래가지고 그 애들도 교육받을 수 있는 다 준비해놓고 우리 애들도 여점에 왔기 때문에 내가 이걸 데려와서 하도 안 했단 말이야. 안 했다고. 그 애들 그런 할수 없어 내가 데려다서 엄마자도 사주고 저 여보 찾아왔으니 뉴욕 건데 여보 찾아와서 그런 노릇도 하시.
And only after father did all that to other people, to all the other people, then for the first time this year, father buys the things for the children. Came to London and took them to the toy shop and buy liberally the toys for them. Has never bring them to the theater a few times, and but father never done that. Only a couple of years ago. Do you understand?
가인을 사랑하고 가인의 세계거든. 하는 가인적인 조건을 세우기야 자기 아들의 조건을 원리야 원리.
It's principle. The principle calls for we will have to do for the sake of Cain with the utmost devotion. We do that first before you can start thinking about your own family or the able side of your relations.
그래서 선생님들 지금 고향 돌아가려면 다 그 세계 사람을 사랑했던 조건 세우고 돌아가야 돼.
So father can go back to Korea and start loving Korea again. We'll have to establish condition that the love other countries more and earlier than you come to love your own country.
자, 내가 직접 못 가면 대선에도 세워서 그 이름을 한다.
If father cannot go directly, then father sends somebody else in his behalf and try to do the same thing, to love that country and serve that country first.
자, 그래서
Do you understand?
장래를 위해서 뭘 남긴다고?
For the future, what are we going to leave behind? What are we going to prepare?
사랑을 통해서 사랑을 뿌리는 사랑을 통한 경제, 사랑을 통한 외교, 사랑을 통한 모든 문화, 사랑을 통한 모든 활동, 사랑 때문에 만든다.
We will prepare everything, economy, even though to be able to produce more things and more goods in better way, technology that is, and if we have more the refined diplomacy, not to feel other people's the feeling, but raise the feeling, yet have the harmonious relations, diplomacy in other words, art, not degenerate art, but the art which mankind all can look up. These things through love is what we are preparing now.
자, 그것이 앞으로 우리들이 갈
Because eventually that is the goal of our life. Our world should come too. So we are preparing that in a very concrete way now. Our viewpoint is completely different.
그것은 이 세계 지금 현재 영국도 필요하고 독일도 필요하고 프랑스도 필요하고 일본도 필요하고 지금 세계 최고 승리자들 누구나 필요한 동시에 미개한 사람도 이것이 절대 필요하다. 어디나 필요하다.
You see, it is so needed, so important. This is the essence of man's need. America, they need that. Britain need that. This original way of looking at the politics, economics, and technology, everything through love. This is what is needed even in Africa. Every people, everyone, they are just craving for it. They are very thirsty for this, and even the civilized country need it even more. Because the systems are more complicated.
자, 그러면 너희들이 이 사랑을 가지고 할 때는 이것이 점점 굴러가면서 커가나 작아가.
If you genuinely do this through the genuine love, do you think this will go better and better every day, and God will protect this to prosper and prosper? Do you believe that? It certainly will not perish.
이러한 사랑을 가지고 이루어진 문화는
And we will one day establish a brilliant culture based upon these original way of thinking, and the culture, civilization built on these bases will never perish like all the time history, civilization perished. Roman, Greek, all the Mesopotamian, every culture, China culture perished, but our culture will stay eternally, that is millions of years eternally on this earth.
남론을 물러나고 그러한 사회와 그러한 주의는 영원히 번창할 것입니다.
And the continuation of that flow of the flow, mainstream, will go on and on without being stopped or interrupted. And
어째서?
the civilization become more and more brilliant. Why?
하나님이 그걸
Because for the first time God can stay with that civilization and live in that civilization along with the new kinds of people. So there's no reason for it to perish.
또 그러면 이 지금 현재 상태를 봐가지고 그렇게 만들 수 있는 우리가 자체는 없기 있다.
And actually, everyone that already come into Unification Church and every world situation now, it becomes totally realistic. You know, every one of the single individual members of Unification Church are men of superb ability. Even though they don't show it yet, wait 2-3 years they will.
그것이 많은 구체적인 내용을 갖고
And also they have a concrete reason and the concrete how to do about it. They already have that.
나만이 할 것이 아니고 주위의 행적으로 얼마든지 발전할 수 있고 그때 내용을 원동력을
Most important of all, we have the source of power to propagate this. We not only do ourselves, but we can make other people do the same thing we are doing. Very easily, we can do that.
진리 내용 자체가 학문적으로 이건 생사적인 내용을 한다.
In other words, we have the essential, the truth in it. The essential truth we have, out of which we can work so many works of reality.
사랑을 빼고도 진리 운동 가지고도 세계를 있다.
In other words, even if we do not put emphasis on love, even if we do with a cold intelligence, we can pretty much do the work.
이건 세계적으로 발전할 수 있는 이런 내용이 충분하다. 응? 그런데 여기에 가서 사랑의 내용을 지우하여
Imagine, we can do, even without the aid of our love, we can very much do with our own intelligence and thinking. Let alone, if the love is poured on here, it's just like a Japanese saying goes, the giant will have a giant sword with him. Not only the giant, but also he has a giant sword in his in his hands. How can he ever be defeated by anyone?
똑똑하지. 어디가든 똑똑하지. 사람이 그야 그 어디 가든지 책임져. 어디 가든지 책임져. 어디 가든지 하는
Every one of us are rather intelligent. You know, there's no dumb Unification Church member. There's no such a thing as dumb Unification Church member. Dumb one never become Unification Church member. They, no matter how they look, they are not dumb. That's one thing sure. And whenever they go in, the quality is there. Every people endorses that.
사랑이 있다고 사랑.
And on top of all, they have a love.
보라, 또 이래요. 이랬다 저랬다 한다.
And they don't change. The people in the world change from morning to in the evening. They change. But we don't change year after year.
자, 그러니까 이건 뭐 이렇게 봐도 엎어놔도 좋고 세워놔도 좋고 뒤집어놔도 좋고.
So the people look at us by lying down and standing up and
upside down.
and upside down. No matter what position they look at us, they must still admire us.
이런 자리에 있다는 것을 넣어줘. 이런 자리에 있다는 걸 넣어줘. 확실하게 이런 자리에 있다는 걸.
So we must be confident at that. Our own value, who in God-given value of us. We must understand we're in that situation.
그러니 소금 문제나 현대 문제에 기틀을 생각하지 이런 관계에 바라볼 때 반드시 되돌아보는 것이 있다. 내가 몰리고 몰랐지만은 결국에서 반대로 이래요. 반대로 모든 사람을 관심하고 반대로 모든 사람들이 내보내면 영구운동이 벌어진다.
Father has been persecuted and opposed by all sorts of people in all countries. But as time goes on, it is not on the perishment. It is always uphill. We develop and develop. Our boundary becomes bigger and bigger. And more and more top people become to recognize us and aware of us.
더 이상하다. 반대로 해버린 건 욕은 안 해서 관심은 다 가는 거예요. 왜 그런 거지?
We can even see that everybody is opposing us. Almost no exception. They are opposing us with the same mouth. They are praising us. It's very inconsistent, but that's the way it is. But they say Reverend Moon is, they say, oh, this and that. When other people, especially, make name us, then they join. But later, when Christian time comes, they always testify in behalf of Reverend Moon. Reverend Moon really is a correct person.
자, 나 뉴욕에서 말이야. 뉴스월드맨인데 그 얼마나 귀한 뉴스월드야. 돈 얼마나 귀한 돈을 쓰고 말이야. 이런데 불구하고 전부 다 발길을 잡아내. 하나님으로 잡는 대벌 해가지고 전부 다 신문을 못 내니까 아이고 뉴스월드가 이렇게 좋구나 야 요즘 줄 줘가지고 산으로 하더라고 말이야. 또 뭐 취직하려고 줄이 서가지고 하더라고.
The News World Father created out of a real difficult situation. There's a New York Times, you see, that is a 100-year-old, almost 100-year-old newspaper, has a mighty power, almost almighty power. If it says he dies, then he dies. If it says he lives, he lives. Actually, politically speaking, that's the way it is. It's a so influential newspaper. Father says, that's an unjust paper. We need a just paper. So the News World was created. The Father spent millions of hard-won dollars there. And all of Unification Church college graduates got together and resolved themselves. We hired not even one man. So they've been struggling along for 8 months. And they've been improving newspaper. The mayor has been praising that and all that. But now the strike, you see. New York Times, Daily News, and one more daily newspaper, 3 major newspapers, they call it, so-called 3 major newspapers, all went to strike. Only leaving one newspaper, which is the News World. And immediately after the strike, the people who were deprived of their job, reporters, thousands of reporters who lost their job temporarily, came to News World after 3 days because they thought the News World is really nice newspaper. They never knew that, you see. Other times they all bought the New York Times, they bought the Daily News. They never had a chance to look at the News World. But when this reporter saw the News World, they thought this is a fascinating newspaper. So they say, knock on our door, saying, I saw your newspaper, you're doing rather well, and I heard it's all amateur doing this. And they say, what do you mean amateur? And then they say, can we get a job? Can you accept me as a job? And we needed them, you see, because we are printing. We cannot print because the printing shop is too busy. So we always don't print enough. So we say, do you have the ability to write? He says, yes, he does. And do you have any, the printing shop to know? He does. So, okay, then work for us and try to expand our paper. Then they would, And about 10 people, in one day there was a desk, about a few people lined up actually. And asking to get the job in newspaper, News World.
그렇게 해가지고 뉴스월드 죽이려고 나서 세상에 참 공평하다고.
This is such a fantastic the side of the New York life and human life. Everybody opposed us, but some bright newspaper man, they saw News World, and they're rather fair mind. They have, Americans. That one thing they have is rather fair mind, intelligently. So they see that News World is a good high caliber newspaper. So they say, why don't I get a job here? Can you give me a job? So the News World hired a few of them, you see. And they are making a tremendous progress because they work really hard after coming into News World. So the world changes that quickly. We never dreamed the New York Times new reporter will come and get a job from our newspaper. And the New York Times go to strike. We don't realize deep enough, but once we realize how urgent Unification Church work is and how important what I am doing is, then we will really never find the time to eat long hours or sit in the bathroom long hours. We will never do that. We will constantly on the run.
그런 것을 알고 그래서 올해 이제 다음 주에 있을지 없을지 모른다고.
So we must all understand that, and next time of Father speaking, there may be or there may not be in England.
자, 그래서 무슨 말인데?
Do you understand?
장래 우리 희망 장래가 장래를 위하여서 우리가 무엇을 내겠어요?
In order to live today, we must have a purpose, objective, is to train ourselves, and we must prepare for tomorrow is what we do and live each day. We must prepare ourselves.
너희들도 이제 거울 보면 너희들 얼굴 보듯이 이런 내 얼굴 옛날에는 화장도 하고 사이드던데 이게 뭐야 이게 뭐고 이게 여기서 이거 뭐야 보기 싫을 정도로 이렇게 되구만 이거 사람
So when you look at your mirror and I say, oh, I used to make up a very beautiful face and I didn't have so many the wrinkles here. Now my age and I have a wrinkle all around here. And I don't do anything about it, no cosmetics. But don't you ever be disappointed at that. In the name of love, it is much enriching than any superficial makeup.
결혼한다면 뭐 화장하지 괜찮다고.
So Father always said, after marrying, and we are allowed to even give a moderate makeup to ourselves. Even we can do anything we want to with our face once we get married.
그럼 나를 위하여 남편을 위해서.
Because why not now and then? Why yes? Well, now we have nobody to show our beauty to. So it's insignificant. But once we get married, I myself is not for myself. Myself is for husbands and for the other way around. So she has a reason to do makeup.
어떻게 깨끗이 빨아야 남편을 위해서. 자식을 위해서.
And you have to have a tidy appearance. Now you can do any appearance. You can even be sloppy now. But once you have your husband, then you have to show that neatness to your husband. And for your own the children, you want to set the example for them. So we do some makeup, we do some clothing.
네, 그 사랑이 이렇게 귀한 거 좋은 거야. 그래서
So the love is our ultimate goal. No matter what activity, eventually we come to the problem of love. The view.
자, 너 생각하라. 너 저 런던에 지금 일을 생각하자 뭐 베레베르 320일 났는데 아프리카 집도 없다고 집도 없는데 찾아가. 그 생각.
Imagine we have at least a few houses around here and around other countries, but in Africa we would not have house to live in, even though we pay money. But we are still determined to go to Africa one day in a large scale and work there. Serve them and work there. We don't even have a house. No accommodations. In London we have all kinds of house, but in Africa we have no house.
여기서 절망하는 사람이 거기가 절망 더할 거 아니야.
So if we get disappointed here and despair, in fact, then the same person will go to Africa and they will disappoint even more because there's nothing that they can turn to. So they want to even eventually maybe run away.
자, 그래서 여기서 지금 훈련받기 때문에 저쪽을 위해서 내가 훈련 만들어줘요.
So what we are doing now is we are persevering all sorts of things and we are preparing for the future to come. Future, we will go there.
자, 또 그래서 이 세상에서 이렇게 하는 것은 저 세상에 훈련해 줬어. 이 세상 친구들에게 그 세상에 내가 합당이 왜 한다.
And furthermore, why we are doing it? So that we can prepare better to adopt in the next world, to the eternal world to come, which is spirit world. We know that. This is how we are preparing ourselves to live fittedly in the next world.
자, 얼마나 사랑을 내는
That's the meaning of body we already know through divine
얼마나
principle.
내는 관하네.
So as long as we live here, what are we going to leave behind us? We are going to leave behind us lots of love.
이것은 영혼을 두고 하고 하더라도 끝이 안 납니다.
This work of love, we can work on ever and ever for eternity, and we'll never run out of work.
그래서 영원한 세계 가서도 사랑을 주면서 그 삶을 갖다고 한다.
This is why this is how it is possible even to with the spirit world. We will continue on living with a loving mind, with the love, because in love there is no limit, and there's no limit in reward either.
너 영계 가가지고 저 옛날에 너 사랑 받으면 나랑 하라는 사랑 받은 걔는 전부 다 세게 잘못.
So when we go to spirit world without loving as much as we were supposed to love, then we have to keep repenting on even in spirit world and help the earth to achieve that in His place.
그 무슨 말 알겠어?
Do you understand?
그런 부러운 사람, 당당한 사람을 여러분한다 하는 걸 알아야 돼.
So we must understand that what we are doing here, maybe it seems small, but it's never. This is a huge task we're doing, all valuable thing we're doing, and we are meaningful thing we are doing for eternally. We must be confident at that.
응? 선생님도 마찬가지. 한국 꼴에서 산골 선한 사람이면 이제 유명해졌다. 세상에서 성공했다.
Like Father,
하나님의 가치.
like Father, born in the deep mountain, which wasn't even famous, but now the people of the world have come to know Father, and the way Father's been working. It's not because the people everywhere around the world welcomed the Father, which made Father famous. It is not at all. They opposed and they persecuted. They want to stop him, but somebody outdone the work and made Father famous regardless. And that somebody is our Father God. We know that. And that same thing God did for Father, Father will do for us, for all of us. The slightest thing we do never go unnoticed by Father.
그래서 내 소망은 더 큰 사랑을 위해, 더 큰 사랑을 소망으로 하는 것이다.
So the hope for the future is our move towards a bigger hope and a bigger love.
그 사랑을 위해서는 더 많이 희생하고 가야 된다.
For that bigger love, we must sacrifice even more. We must do more sacrifice for that bigger love. And while we are trying that, then we find the time for us to depart this world. But that's the best way of life. There's no more better way. And at the time, we are not going to pass this world in despair, like everyone, with no exception, does, except us. But we instead will be looking up with expectation to meet our Father and to continue our work. We are the only ones to die in that way.
틀림없이 하나님 아들 딸로서 하나님의 저 나라에 하나님 계신 곳에 살게 되는 것이다.
Then there's no question we will be accepted in the name as a son and daughter of God Himself, of our Father Himself.